here wants to be happy? Raise your hand if you want to be happy. Okay, oh good, all right, right. Keep your hand up if you're actually happy. Are you happy? Oh wow, so many hands went down, right? So you want to be happy, but you're not happy. That's surprising because you're Koreans. You're actually quite successful, right? Whenever you put your mind to something, you make it happen. Is that because you're not putting your mind to happiness? I don't know. Or is it because you don't know how to get there? So I want to tell you this. The biggest question is, if we want to be happy all the time, but we're not always happy, then there must be something wrong. And when I was, successful in my early 30s and late 20s, I had everything. I was searching for happiness, buying, the latest electronic gadget or some expensive clothing or going on vacations or buying fancy cars or whatever it is. I was just investing in my happiness, but I couldn't find it. And it kept bothering me. Why is it so hard to find? Why is it that I buy a car that I've been dreaming of for the last 6 years and I sit in it and I'm happy for 2.5 minutes and then the unhappiness comes back? What was wrong? Why was I not able to find happiness? And of all the reasons, when I ask people, why are you unhappy? They say, hey, because life is difficult, or because my teenage daughter is not scoring A's in her exams, or, there is a reason, there is something that's making me unhappy. But that's not the actual reason. The actual reason I found was very interesting. We don't find happiness because we're looking for it in all the wrong places. Because happiness is not to be found in a new iPhone. It's not to be found in a new car. It's not to be found in a vacation, even though the vacation helps. But, once the vacation is over, unhappiness comes back, right? Happiness is not to be found outside you. And let me explain that to you. Have you ever gone looking for your keys when you had them in your pocket? Like you put your keys in your pocket and then you get concerned and you want to find your keys. So you jump under the sofa and you flip the table upside down and you go like, wow, where are they? Where are they? And you can't find them, right? Because they're already in your pocket. Happiness is the same. Happiness is already inside your heart, okay? If you don't believe me, look at this. Every little child you have ever seen, including yourself, by the way, before you learned to speak, you were always happy, right? If they gave you enough to eat, if there was nothing to be afraid of, there was no reason for you to be unhappy. If you had your basic needs for survival, what was your state? Your state was happy. You didn't need an Xbox to be happy. You didn't need a new phone to be happy. You didn't need a promotion at work to be happy. You didn't even know what those things are. You were just happy. I mean this. Have you ever bought a mobile phone? You take it out of the box, and the phone works perfectly. The day you take it out of the box, it's shiny and beautiful, right? The menus will swipe beautifully. The animations will be great. The battery will last a full day, right? Only the first day. Only the first day. Is that a problem with the design? No, it was okay when you took it out of the box. But then somehow you told yourself, I really need an application that will tell me what the temperature near my home is, right? I want to open this application anytime and I want to know if there is a drop of rain on my window or whatever it is, the strange applications that we download. And that application, of course, goes like, okay, let me use your GPS, let me use your network card, let me connect to the network, let me find the information and give you the answer. It works. But it depletes your battery life, depletes your battery life. Similarly with us, as machines, we're born happy, and then they start installing weird applications in our head. They tell us that the only way to go through life is to be rich and successful. They tell us that we should stop being playful, we should stop thinking about fun, we should sit in school for 8 hours a day, then come back from school and do tutoring for 5 more. And then when we come back, if we dare say, can we watch TV to relax, that's a bad thing. And of course, you're all very capable people, right? So they tell you to prioritize your success. What do? You prioritize your success. And what do? You become successful. But in the process, you screw up the operating system. In the process, you learn things that make you unhappy. Any one of you who has ever bought one of those mobile phones understands this. There is no extra application that you can add to the phone to become happy again. There is no application that you can add to the phone so that it extends the battery life. Similarly with us, if I buy a car or I buy a phone or I go on a vacation, adding more applications to my operating system, that doesn't make me happy again. The only way to fix a mobile phone where you installed weird apps is what? It's to reset. To reset. It's to remove the apps. Remove what you put wrong on it. Okay? And today I'm going to try to explain to you what those apps are and remove them one by one. Which basically means this. I know this will sound like a very simple statement. Happiness truly is just the absence of unhappiness. If you remove the reasons that are making you unhappy, what is left behind is happy. That was a massive turning point in my research, because suddenly I realized that for the last 2.5 years, I was searching for reasons to be happy, and that there are no reasons to be happy. What I should have searched for was the reasons I was unhappy, so that I remove them one by one, and then what's left behind is my default setting. What's left behind is happy. How do we find happiness? When I started to say, okay, now I get it. So this machine was designed happy. That was the default setting. You know, there is nothing wrong with the design. There are just some applications that I need to remove. Great, great, great. I'm going to find happiness. And then I asked myself, how do you know when you found it? What is happiness? Do we even know what happiness is? And so I went back to my books and I read and read and read and read. Like, nobody's speaking about this. They all tell you what to do, but they don't tell you what you're searching for. How can you find it if you don't know what it is? And so as my engineering mind was really upset with this. It's like, I need to have a definition. I need to have an equation that describes what generates happiness and unhappiness, right? And so I did it in a very strange way. I know when I look back at it now, I say, that was crazy. But really, the only way I could do it at the time was like a scientist. You know, when you don't have an equation that describes the behavior of something, what you do is you collect as many data points as you can for that something happening, and you put them on a chart, and then you try to fit a line between all those points. And the equation that describes that line is the best approximation of the behavior of that experiment. So I did exactly that. I wrote down every single moment in my life I felt happy. Okay? Of course, I couldn't remember all of them, but at the time, I could actually remember 92 of them. I recall that vividly, 92 points. So before I tell you the result of that, I actually want you to do this experiment yourself. So why don't we take maybe a quick 30 seconds or a minute or so, and I want you to close your eyes and think about situations when you feel happy, okay? Think about things like, I feel happy when I have a good cup of coffee. I feel happy when I'm with my friend Clara, right? These are all happy moments. Think of 5 or 6 of them, and then I'll tell you what we can do with them in a minute. Has any one of you here got the idea of, I feel happy when I win the Nobel Prize? No? No? You didn't get that? Right. Did any of you have, I feel happy when I make $1 million? No. Right? The most interesting thing about the happy list is that it's all very simple things that make us happy, right? Very often, you feel happy when little things happen in your life, little things, as a matter of fact, that are so easy that you can actually have them in your life every day. Sometimes every week, but mostly every day. I can have a good cup of coffee every single day of my life. And when you actually realize that, you start to invite those things into your life a little more. The other thing that I think you may have noticed is this. When you actually think about your happy list, you feel happy. Do you understand that? So when I'm thinking about my happy list, I tell myself, I feel happy when my daughter smiles. All of that makes me happy. I actually don't need to be with her right now to see her smile. Just thinking about that makes me happy. So when I realized this, I started to really concentrate on my happy list. And actually, I will give this to all of you and even people at home as homework. Develop your happy list. Write down the things that make you happy and take your happy list out every day. Every day, take it out and look at it and think about those things, because thinking about it makes you happy. But thinking about it also gives you a very, very interesting reason to be happy, which is gratitude. You know what gratitude is? It's to look at list and say, oh, there are so many things in my life that can make me happy. Why am I so obsessive about the things that making me unhappy? Right? If I think about the things that make me happy, if I see them in front of my eyes, I should feel grateful that my life has so many things that can make me happy. The feeling of gratitude is the feeling that really makes you say, well, I think I should feel happy today. So work on it, expand it, make it 50 items, 60 items, put pictures in your happy list. Make it something that you look at every day. It will help make you happy by giving you that feeling of gratitude. Then I started to ask myself and say, okay, but that is actually, this equation does not apply. The equation seems logical, but it's not working. And the reason is this. I feel happy when I have a good cup of coffee, but that's not always true. Sometimes I have a good cup of coffee and the cafe is too noisy, or the place is a little too hot or whatever, and I don't feel happy. So these things are not the only things that make me happy or unhappy. I kept looking for that single reason that describes the equation. And you know what? It was so simple. When you hear it now, it will open your eyes. Okay? I feel happy when life seems to be going my way. Every time you felt unhappy in your entire life, every time you will feel unhappy in the future is a moment where life missed your expectations. It means that unhappiness, that bad feeling that we have inside us, truly is just a survival mechanism. Let me explain that to you. Every part of our biological system, this physical form that we are, is designed for us to survive. I know it sounds strange because we're not animals in the jungle anymore, but your heart is pumping blood around your body, not because it likes the sound of the rhythm. It's like do-do-dum, do-do-dum. It's not playing music for you, right? It's actually pumping blood around your body because you need the blood to survive. And so your brain is constantly looking at everything around it, every single event of your life, sometimes up to 60,000 times a day. Can you imagine that? In this situation that we're in, you're looking at my presentation and saying, oh, the graphics are okay, that meets my expectation, I'm happy. This guy came in and wearing a t-shirt. I mean, I expected a suit. That's not good. I'm unhappy, right? Everything, every event in your life. When your brain finds that the event is not meeting your expectations, what does your brain do? It tells itself, there is a reason to concern here. Actually, this might be dangerous. If I feel that something's wrong, I actually should be a little careful. So what does it do? It sends up the sirens. It turns on the alarm. Your brain to alert you that something's wrong. It's that one red light on the dashboard of your car that says, check engine, something's wrong. And then I ran a very simple test. Let's run this test together. I'm going to ask you to do two tasks at the same time. I'm going to first ask you to think about something that makes you unhappy, okay? That's easy, I think, right? If I tell you to think about something that makes you unhappy, your brain will go like, sure, yeah, I have a few of those, right? The second thing is I'm going to ask you to keep that unhappy feeling inside you and just add a few simple numbers on the screen, a few mathematics, right? So we'll take 20 seconds. Feel free to close your eyes, think about something that makes you unhappy, and then keep that feeling of unhappiness inside you until I ask you to start doing the math. Something that makes you unhappy. Okay, good, ready? I want you to stay unhappy. Please stay unhappy and add the numbers that will now show on the screen. Who here managed to add all the numbers? Anyone? Oh, bad. Okay, at least did anyone remain unhappy? Wow, why? It's easy to remain unhappy. Sometimes we remain unhappy for weeks and months and years. Why? Think about this experiment for a minute. Around a minute ago, life was exactly as it is right now. Then I told you to think of something that makes you unhappy. No real event happened in the real world. It's not the event, right? Nothing happened. Yet, you went to your brain and you said, hey, brain, bring me something that makes me unhappy. Your brain goes like, yeah, sure, absolutely. I have 730 things that I was upset about. Which one do you want? And you can easily generate that unhappy feeling. Oh, she told me that she doesn't like me yesterday. right? And then suddenly you get that overwhelming feeling of unhappiness. Why doesn't she like me? You could keep that for 20 seconds. What if I had asked you to keep that feeling inside you for 20 minutes? Many of us would be able to. We would be able to expand the thinking. She doesn't like me. A week ago, she actually looked the other way when I saw her. You know, I heard that she messaged her friend and said that I'm ugly. You know, all of those thoughts can come to your brain. And if you kept those feelings for 20 minutes, would anything have happened in the real world? It's a thought that came to your head with no event. Nothing happened in the real world to cause it. When it happened, there was no event as a result. Nothing changed in the real world as a result. The only thing that happened in between is you tortured yourself with that unhappy feeling. How stupid is that? It's a thought that generates unhappiness. When you think about it, you realize this. It's not the events of life that make us unhappy. It's the way we think about the events of life that make us unhappy. Any event in the world can happen. Until you grant it the power to make you unhappy, it's not going to make you unhappy. You can get into a taxi and the taxi driver is a little angry and rude and he shouts at you, and you can tell yourself, this is crazy, why am I here? I hate this, you know, nobody should shout at me, he's disrespecting me. With those thoughts, you're going to feel unhappy. Or you could sit in there and say, he must have been driving for the last 12 hours. Anyway, it's going to be 7 minutes. I don't really care, right? I hope he feels better tomorrow. You get out of the car and you don't think about it. If you thought about it the second way, you're happy. If you thought about it the first way, you're unhappy. It's the same event. The way you think about it is what makes you unhappy. Let me give you another example. I had a wonderful car that I loved. You know, a convertible, twin turbo. In my bad years, I really loved cars. And my wife at the time, Nibel, took it out and she was driving it and she had an accident head on. She literally hit a truck, okay? It was near our home, so I drove there quickly. I could not recognize the car. It was a big ball of metal. The car was gone. But every safety feature worked. So the airbags deployed, the crumble zones were fine, and my wife went out of the car totally safe. The event here was my car was gone, the car that I really, really loved was gone, and my wife was safe. My expectation was, wow, my wife was saved from such a bad accident, I'm happy. I don't care about the car, right? Imagine this. Imagine if my wife had taken the car out, parked it on the side, went inside to buy a coffee, and when she was inside buying a coffee, the truck hit the car and the car was totaled, right? It would be the exact same event. The car is a wreck and my wife is safe. But the way I would think about it is, oh, this idiot driver, why did he do this? He destroyed my car. I'm so unhappy. So by turning the negative thought into a positive thought, somebody who is always unhappy. I'm sure you have. You know, there are those people out there where if it rains, it's too wet. If it doesn't, it's too hot. If it's cold, I don't like the cold, right? If it snows, oh, come on, snow? I can't take this. There are people like that. Even though there are others where, that, you know, when it snows, they go like, woohoo, skiing. Others, you know, that when it's hot, they go like, yeah, let's just enjoy the sun, or whatever. The people that are always down there, these are people that I call in the state of confusion. They overthink everything. They think so much, everything's wrong. And because they think so much, they input the wrong information into their equation all the time. It's not that life is horrible. It's not horrible for you when it snows. But for them it is because they're confused, everything's wrong. That state of confusion is for people that really fall below the clarity of thought. They're not thinking clear anymore. Do you know anybody that is always happy? You know those guys that are always jumping and, you know, whatever happens, they're happy? Like, you know, the food is late. Good, good, we can chat a little bit. The food is, you know, is early. Oh, I was so hungry. The people that are happy all the time are people that don't overthink things. You know, these are people that basically rise above the clutter of thought. Now, these are clear stages. The one stage that is hidden is in the middle, okay? It's that stage that I actually believe is one of the main reasons we fail to find happiness in the modern world. This stage is what I call the stage of escape. The state of escape happens when you suspend your thinking. So thinking causes you to be unhappy or happy, right? If you're having a tough time in life and you're always unhappy or more often unhappy than you can handle, what you do is you decide to escape. Escaping, in that case, happens with a tool that is called fun. This is the modern world's way of commercializing happiness for consumers. It's like, hey, you cannot find that peaceful feeling of happiness through the happiness equation. Let's just give you entertainment on TV, or let's go to a party, or let's go dancing, or whatever that is. Fun, in an interesting way, is engaging your physical form in some activities that get you to stop your brain from thinking about the things that make you unhappy. Your brain keeps saying, she said she doesn't like me, she said she doesn't like me, she said she doesn't like me. So you go like, stop brain. You put some music on, you dance a little, and you can't think about it anymore. You go on a treadmill and you run really fast, so your brain goes like, hey, we're gonna fall here, let's focus on the run, let's stop thinking about what she said. And when you stop thinking about it, what do? You get back to that state of you when you were lying on your back as a child. Your default setting is happy. Once you stop thinking, you go back to happiness again. So fun is wonderful. Why don't we just have fun all the time then? Because then we will be happy all the time. The problem with fun is this. You can use fun in one of two ways. If you use it as a painkiller when you're already unhappy, it works as a painkiller. What do I mean by that? You know, when you have a headache, the headache might be because you ate something bad, or because your back is hurting, or your neck is hurting, or for whatever reason, it's too hot, anything, right? You have a headache, you take a painkiller, the headache goes away. But the reason for the headache does not go away. So 6 hours later, the effects of the painkiller wears out, and so you feel the headache again. What do? Another pill. 6 more hours, and then another pill. Isn't that what we do with fun? It's like, it's been too hard this week, I'm gonna go out and dance, right? And then, after you wake up in the morning, you're unhappy again. Okay, let me just go out and have fun with my friends. 6 hours gone, I feel unhappy again. Okay, I'll watch a movie, right? You're constantly distracting your brain, but you're not fixing the reason for the headache, the reason for the unhappiness. The more interesting thing is, of course, after a while, just like with painkillers, the normal strength doesn't work anymore. So you start to give yourself stronger and stronger painkillers. If running on the treadmill doesn't make you, stop thinking anymore, you start to jump out of an aeroplane, or you do extreme sports, or you go to wild parties, or you listen to strange music, or whatever that is. You just make it stronger and stronger. You want more intensities, painkillers. Some of us go drinking or taking drugs just because they want to numb their brain. They want the brain to stop thinking. It's never going to work. The only thing that's going to work is when you fix the reason for the headache, when you fix the reason for your unhappiness. I actually have a fun quota in my life, but I use it after I fix the issue. I use it as a supplement, as a vitamin. You know, when you take a vitamin in the morning while you're already healthy, so that you continue to be healthy. I fix the reasons for my unhappiness, I get my thoughts right, and then I add fun to my life. I have a quota of at least 1 hour a day of music. I work out at least 5 to 6 times a week. Not because I need it to numb the pain, but because if I'm already happy and I add those activities, I'm happier, okay? I stay happy longer. Whatever you do, use it whichever way you want. I prefer that you use it as a supplement when you fix your issues with happiness, but whatever you do, don't mix fun with happiness, because fun is not happiness.
행복하거나 기쁨을 느끼는 이 패턴도 사실은 도파민의 분비에 큰 영향을 받고 있는데, 도파민이 분비되는 포인트는 3가지가 있습니다. 내가 전혀 예측하고 있지 않은데 길 가다가 1,000만 원을 주웠어.
아우.
그런데 거기에 심지어는 돌려주지 마시고 찾는 분이 가지세요라고 써 있었어요. 어우, 그 순간 뇌는 미치죠. 예.
미치죠.
도파민이 마구마구 분비되면서 기쁜데, 이거는 예측되지 않았는데 바로 그런 상황이 생긴 거잖아요.
네.
기뻐요. 그리고 뭔가 내가 기쁠 수 있는 일이 예측될 때 나와요. 그러니까 예측될 때 도파민이 분비가 되고, 그리고 실제로 즐거운 일이 일어났을 때도 분비가 돼요. 예측되는 순간 분비된다는 게 뭐냐 하면은 아내에게 말을 해요. 아, 내가 오늘 일 갔다가 돌아오면 설거지도 하고 집도 정리할게. 진짜 약속할게. 라고 말해요. 그럼 그 순간 제 아내는 기뻐요. 그리고 나서 제가 정말로 청소를 하고 설거지를 했어요. 그럼 제가 정말로 청소를 하고 설거지를 했을 때 기뻐야 되는데 그때는 도파민이 거의 분비되지 않아요. 네. 그러니까 뭐냐면은 예측이 되고 기쁜 일이 있으면 기쁜 일이 있을 때는 그렇게 거의 분비되지 않고 예측의 순간에 이제 될 거야. 약속했으니까 기쁘다. 이게 분비가 되고 그리고 제일 나쁜 상황이 있어요. 예측을 줬는데 예측한 일이 일어나지 않았을 때 그때는 네거티브로 갑니다. 좋지 않은 감정이 생기죠. 근데 이 예측되는 것 자체를 다르게 우리가 해석해 볼까요? 그러니까 예측이 된다는 거는 뇌가 길을 맞는 거잖아요. 이미 여기서 여기로 길이 가는 거고 요 점이 있고 요 점이 있고 예측이 된 거예요. 일종의 믿음이 형성됐다고 볼 수가 있는 거예요. 그리고 뇌는 많은 것들을 믿고 있어요. 그러니까 뭐냐면은 밝은 곳에 있다가 어두운 곳에 가면은 물리적으로는 얼굴의 색깔이 어두워지잖아요. 그렇다고 우리가 지금 인종이 바뀌는 건 아니잖아요. 그러니까 그림자가 어두운 곳이기 때문에 색이 전체적으로 어두워진다는 것을 아는 거잖아요, 내가. 이것은 경험을 통해서 학습을 하고 아까 말한 것처럼 길이 만들어진 건데 결과적으로는 그게 어떤 말하지 않아도 되는 믿음처럼 돼서 뇌가 아예 우리에게 의식적으로 이걸 생각하게도 만들지 않아요. 거의 자동으로 인지를 해요. 이게 중요한 이유는 플라시보 효과와 관련된 거예요. 플라시보 효과가 다른 말로 하면 믿음의 힘이에요. 뇌가 어떠한 일이 일어날 거다. 그것이 내 몸에 어떠한 작용을 할 것이다 라고 믿는 순간 내 몸이 물리적으로, 신체적으로 실제로 그런 반응을 보입니다. 그러니까 만약에 우리가 침을 맞으면 그 침이 정말 효과가 있는 걸까? 침이 효과가 있다고 믿어서 그런 걸까? 밝혀지지 않은 침의 원리에 대해서는 일단 보류해두고 밝혀진 부분은 재밌는데 그게 바로 믿음이에요. 침을 맞으면 나을 거다라는 믿음 자체가 정말로 낫게 하는데 그게 실제로 세계보건기구나 아니면 다른 많은 연구자들이 보이기를 나에게 효과가 있다라고 믿고 맞으면 정말로 효과가 있어요. 베르나르 베르베르가 썼던 책 안에 나온 이야기인데 여러분 벼룩 아시죠? 벼룩은 자기 몸의 80배가 넘게 뛸 수 있어요. 엄청나게 높이 뛸 수 있는 그러한 능력을 가졌어요. 이 벼룩을 저런 어항에 가두잖아요. 보이는 것 같은 어항에. 그리고 나서 뚜껑을 닫아요. 그러면은 저 어항은 정말 작은 공간에 가다 놓고 얘가 빵 뛰면은 머리를 빡 부딪히면서 진짜 아플 거 아니에요. 엄청 높이 뛸 수 있는데. 그럼 계속 밤새도록 뛰는데 하룻밤 동안 저 뚜껑을 딱 닫아놨다가 다음날 아침에 열잖아요. 그럼 뚜껑을 닫지 않아도 얘네들은 저 뚜껑이 있던 딱 그 밑을까지만 뜁니다.
그래요?
아프니까. 내가 그 밖으로 나가려고 막 뛰어도 막 머리 부딪히고 아프니까. 아프지 않으려고 저렇게 맞춰가는 거예요. 이 이야기는 어떻게 보면 벼룩이 가지고 있는 세상에 대한 믿음이 변한 거예요. 나는 이만큼 뛸 수 있는 능력을 가지고 있지만 그 유리 뚜껑에 경계에 부딪히면서 계속 아프고 계속 상처받고 이것을 겪고 나니까 요 세상 안에서는 이 어항의 세상 안에서는 이만큼밖에 나는 뛰면 안 되는구나 라는 믿음이 생긴 거죠. 이 조그만 미물에게도. 비슷한 예가 아기 코끼리가 이제 자라날 때 코끼리를 길들일 때 어떻게 하냐면 저런 밧줄로 묶어요. 나무에 묶어요. 그러면 아기 코끼리는 엄마 코끼리한테 가겠다고 막 울부짖으면서 도망가려고 하는데 그때마다 다리가 밧줄에 묶여서 발버둥을 치고 아파요. 그 경험을 해요. 내 다리에 밧줄이 묶이고 그럼 난 도망갈 수가 없구나. 그리고 나서 어른 코끼리가 돼도 저렇게 허접한 보이지도 않는 줄 하나 걸어놔도 코끼리는 도망가지 않는다고 봐요. 코끼리의 뇌가 보는 세상에 대한 믿음 안에 밧줄 묶여있다? 난 도망갈 수 없다. 도망가려고 하면 아프다. 라는 믿음이 생긴 거죠. 그래서 이 이야기가 뜻하는 바는 내가 가지고 있는 능력, 내가 갈 수 있는 곳은 사실 내가 생각하는 것보다 훨씬 더 먼 곳일지도 몰라요. 그것을 가로막고 있는 것은 다름 아닌 나 자신의 뇌의 믿음입니다. 세뮤얼 베케트라고 고도를 기다리며라는 연극의 작가죠. 이런 명언을 했어요. Ever tried, ever failed, no matter. try again, fail again, fail better. 나는 끊임없이 시도했어. 나는 시도했어. 그리고 시도할 때마다 실패했어. 하지만 상관없어. 또 시도하면 되고 또 실패하면 되고 그냥 조금 덜 실패하면 되는 거잖아. 저는 이 말이 너무너무 좋아요. 왜냐하면 이 말이 말해주는 바는 아까 우리 뇌의 믿음, 내 성장에 대한 믿음과 큰 관련이 있어요. 내가 비록 놀았지만, 내가 비록 흙수저지만, 내가 실제로 지금 내 상황이 좋지 않지만 세상은 계속 변하고 있고 나에겐 가능성이 있고 내가 갈 수 있는 수많은 길들이 있기 때문에 나는 성장할 수 있어. 새로운 길이 있다고 믿는 거예요. 그러한 새로운 길을 걸어보는 용기가 여러분의 삶을 바꿀 거라고 생각합니다.
우리가 행복함을 흔히 연상시키는 것은 뭐냐면 행복해지기 위해서는 좋은 삶의 조건을 가지고 있어야 된다. 뭐 좋은 학교도 졸업하고 뭐 연봉도 뭐 어느 정도 돼야 되고 이런 좋은 윤택한 삶의 조건을 많이 가진 자들이 행복할 것이다라고 생각을 하지만 깜짝 놀랄 정도로 객관적인 삶의 조건은 그 사람의 실제 행복도를 예측하는데 뚜렷한 한계가 있어요. 그렇다면은 행복을 좌우하는 가장 중요한 변이는 뭐냐? 행복한 사람과 그렇지 않은 사람들의 극명한 차이 중에 하나는 사회적인 관계의 양과 질이 달라요. 행복한 사람들은 굉장히 풍성한 사회적 관계를 맺고 있고 그 부분에서 어떤 빈약함을 느끼는 사람은 다른 것이 있어도 행복감은 높지 못하다 하는 결론이 일관되게 나와요. 왜 사회적인 관계와 행복은 불가분의 관계를 이룰까? 행복이 뭘까 본질적으로? 이 녀석의 어떤 본질적인 속성에 대해서 우선은 제대로 짚고 넘어가면서 시작을 해야 돼요. 그때 제가 두 가지를 말씀드리고 싶은데 첫째는 행복은 본질적으로 생각이 아닌 경험이다 이 얘기를 하고 싶어요. 만약에 여러분의 손가락에 저런 압정을 누가 찌르면 어떠실 것 같으세요? 아프죠? 이때 정말 그 통증이 느껴지세요? 정말 아프다기보다는 아플 것 같다라는 생각이에요. 우리가 멘탈 시뮬레이션을 하는 것이죠. 이게 바로 생각이에요. 그럼 경험은 뭐겠어요? 직접 찔리는 거죠. 제 친구가 오더니 연구가 손 좀 줘봐. 손을 줬더니 얘가 압정을 꺼내서 여기다 탁 찔러요. 친구가 아니죠. 어쨌든 이때 느끼는 고통은 제가 느끼는 고통은 왠지 아픈 것 같은데 이런 건가요? 아니죠. 이 체험은 질적으로 달라요. 눈물, 콧물이 나고 피가 나면서 제가 체험을 하고 있죠. 그런데 아주 좀 희한한 시나리오를 생각해 볼 수가 있어요. 이게 만약 생각이라면 아까 저한테 압정을 찔른 친구가 10분쯤 있다가 와요. 그러면서 물어봐요. 은구가 너 손가락 아프냐? 말이라고 하냐 이놈아? 그랬더니 이 녀석이 와가지고 저를 탁 허그를 해줘요. 그래서 기과에다 무슨 말을 하느냐? 은구가 아프다고 생각하지 마. 그러고 가요. 그러면 제가 그 말을 딱 듣는 순간 제 고통이 거짓말처럼 가시나요? 말도 안 되는 얘기죠. 제가 이 말씀을 왜 드리느냐? 여러분들이 행복하면은 가장 많이 요새 듣는 얘기는 감사해라. 긍정적으로 생각해라. 이거는 생각을 바꾸라는 거예요. 저도 가급적이면 이렇게 생각하는 게 좋다라고 전적으로 동의를 해요. 그러나 이것은 한계가 있는 것이죠. 왜냐하면 행복은 이런 생각이 아니라 압정에 찔렸을 때 느끼는 고통과 같은 체험인데 행복의 실체를 이해하기 위해서는 인간이 왜 그런 경험을 하며 언제 느끼며 등등의 본질적인 어떤 파악이 있어야 되죠. 그랬을 때 경험이다. 이게 첫 번째 제가 밑줄 긋고 시작하고 싶은 얘기예요. 그러면 이 경험이 인간에게 왜 일어나며 언제 일어나는지에 대해서 생각을 해볼 필요가 있다는 거죠. 각자 사람마다 조금씩 이유가 다르지만 보편적으로 많은 사람들이 믿고 있는 어떤 생각 중에 하나는 저것이 터지기 위해서는 그럴듯한 좋은 인생의 조건들을 갖춰야 된다라고 생각을 해요. 그래서 뭐 좋은 차도 있고 좋은 집도 있고 좋은 뭐 학위도 있고 어떻게 얘기하면 거꾸로 얘기하면 우리가 살면서 동분서주하면서 뭐 좋은 학교를 가고 돈을 벌고 하려고 하는 이유가 그래야지 내 머리에서 얘가 터질 것이다라는 예상을 하고 생각을 하기 때문에 그렇다는 거예요. 그러면 이 생각이 과연 맞느냐 틀리느냐? 전적으로 틀린 생각은 아니에요. 왜냐하면 뭐 남자들은 아시겠지만 차가 없을 때 차를 사면 이게 켜져요? 뭘 말이라고 합니까? 안 꺼져서 문제죠. 그러나 이런 것들이 켜지긴 하지만 사실은 문제가 뭐냐면 이렇게 켜지는 전구가 얼마나 오래 갈 것이냐를 물어봐야 돼요. 근데 그 부분에 대해서는 우리는 질문을 하지 않거든요. 그래서 시컷 30년 동안 뭐 라면만 끓여 먹으면서 적금을 들어가지고 큰 집을 사요. 그러면 큰 집에 이사 가면 저게 켜지나요? 켜지죠. 문제는 3일 정도 켜지다가 꺼져요. 아주 야속하죠. 30년을 고생했는데 저 집이 주는 행복감은 3일. 이런 지식을 안다는 게 꼭 좋은 건 아니에요. 그래서 저는 아직 집이 없어요. 아직 집이 없어요. 근데 아무튼 간에 이런 어떤 객관적인 조건들이 저것들을 켜줄 것이다라고 생각을 하지만 틀린 생각은 아니지만 결정적으로 오래가지 못한다라는 문제가 있다는 것이죠. 왜냐하면 인간의 감정은, 행복은 본질적으로 감정이에요. 감정은 새롭지 않은 것에서는 반응하지 않아요. 내가 집이 없을 때 집이 생기는 거는 변하죠. 그래서 하이. 그러나 일단 생긴 집은 일주일, 열흘이 있어도 똑같이 형태를 안 변하고 가만히 있어요. 그러면 감정이 그거를 눈치채는 순간부터 흥미를 잃게 되죠. 그래서 행복은 약간 아이스크림과 비슷하다. 저는 이런 비유를 가끔 쓰는데 아이스크림은 우리에게 뭐 단맛을 주고 입을 즐겁게 하지만 아이스크림의 결정적인 문제가 뭡니까? 녹아 없어지죠. 우리의 행복을 추구하면서 우리가 갖고 있는 착각 중에 하나는 인생 어디엔가는 녹지 않는 영원한 큼직한 아이스크림이 있을 것이다 라고 찾아 헤매는 경우가 많아요. 과연 그런 게 있을까요? 사실 없어요. 뭐 장관이 되면 안 녹을 것이다. 천만의 말씀. 3일 정도 회피하고 사실은 원점으로 가죠. 현명한 행복 전략은 뭐냐면 모든 게 녹아. 할 수 있는 거는 자주 먹는 수밖에 없어요. 그래서 커다란 한 방을 노리는 게 아니라 소소하게 어떤 빈번하게 작은 쾌감을 느끼는 것이 실질적으로 행복한 사람들이 갖고 있는 특성 중에 하나예요.